Hey, what's going on YouTube? Or Storm here with another discussion video today. Today I'm going to be starting a new series where I talk about top 5 different things in Yu-Gi-Oh! Today I'm talking about the top 5 cards that I believe Konami needs to import in the next year or so. There's obviously we got a lot of imports in Breakers of Shadow. So a lot of the cards that might have been on this list have been left off, but nevertheless we're going to go ahead and get to it. So number 5 is Diamond Dust. Now this little trap card was a pretty commonly side decked over in the OCG simply because of what it does. So its effect reads, destroy as many water monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each. So this card was very commonly over in the OCG sided against Necros. And when I saw this card, my first thought was, where was this card when was this card when Mermails were all running rampant, or when Necros were wrecking us last February? I just feel that this card, even with Necros getting their recent hits and probably more to come, I just feel that this, especially with Neptibus coming out in Breakers of Shadow, I just feel like this is a very good side deck card that we really need imported over into the TCG. I feel like it's a really good card for Mermails, against Mermails, really good against Necros, so I feel like it definitely should be imported sometime soon. Number 4, Eternal Soul. If you don't know what this bad boy does, first, it's more Legacy Dark Magician support. The reason I reference this card is because I think it's silly that we're getting BLS in Breaker. We're getting BLS support in Dimensions of Chaos. We're getting on Breakers of Shadow, getting Buster Blader support, but the Dark Magician support still remains OCG exclusive. If you don't know what this card does, it's a continuous trap card that makes all your Dark Magician monsters unaffected by card effects or your opponent's card effects, I believe. And then once per turn, it can special summon a Dark Magician monster from your graveyard or add a Dark Magical attack. And since it's a trap card, you can use it during either player's turn. It's a pretty good legacy support. I feel that Konami probably should have imported a long time ago. Number 3, Raid Raptor Force Tricks. I feel like at this point this card is long overdue to be imported. I can understand it not getting imported in Cross Souls simply because that was where by that point in the anime we weren't to where he starts using Shun starts using Force Tricks for the first time, and I just feel that it's a really missing link for Raid Raptors to even do anything. On top of that, it's really good support for Blackwing decks, which Konami seems to never want to stop giving support. So I feel like at this point, Raid Raptor Force Tricks it needs to be imported. Having a generic searcher for level 4 Wing Beasts that are Dark attribute is really good, especially for Raid Raptors, but particularly for Blackwings. Number 2, Perform Pal Pendulum Wizard. I feel like this card is so far it was one of the cards I believe that was wrote in the Shonen Jump voting. If you don't know what this card does, it has a scale of 2. Its pendulum effect reads, when you pendulum summon or perform a Pal any Perform Pal monsters, all your Perform Pal monsters gain 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. Second, its main effect, this is the one you kind of care about, is that when it's pendulum summon, you can destroy up to 2 cards you control, then add 2 Perform Pal monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. So this card is really key, obviously, in the Mages and Pals deck that is currently dominating the OCG, but it's also really good in good in Odd Eyes decks, or especially in Perform Pal decks. It gives them more generic searching. I just feel that I feel like even though we didn't get it as a jump promo, I feel that at the present time, I'm hoping it gets imported in Dimensions of Chaos, but if not, we may not get it until late next year, which is going to be pretty upsetting. And before I get to number 1, honorable mentions would definitely include Magi Girl. Well, and talk about that card for the minute. I feel the reason that card never got imported was simply because the creator doesn't want his art censored when it's brought to by bringing it to the stateside. Now for number 1, number S39, Utopia the Lightning. If you don't know what this card does, this card is single-handedly going to make Utopia a rank 4 staple again. So if the basic effect is you can summon it by using 3 level 5 lights, but you're never really going to summon it using that method. You can also exceed summon this card by using a Utopia monster you control as the XYZ material. Much like some other monsters. You can't stack anything on top of it. But the main thing is you can obviously use Utopia Prime underneath it. So its first effect is that it's an Armades when it attacks. Your opponent cannot activate cards and effects when it attacks. And it can also buff itself up to 5k, which is incredibly powerful. I mean, can you say no more Diamond Crab King in my extra deck? Yes, please. And also the fact that you can use its effect up to twice by stacking a Utopia Prime on top of your Utopia, then going into this is pretty potent. I feel that towers will... With this card in some of the decks I've been testing it in, I find that not only does it easily replace both Excalibur and Diamond Crab King, it also does a fairly good job of getting over towers easily. So anyway, guys, it comes to the end of the video. If you have there's any cards you think I missed or forgot, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. Anyway, guys, as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This is Warstorm signing out.